Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So the man who helped to incite that attempted coup at the Capitol last week is now supposedly on the run and in hiding, and his website promoting the insurrection has been completely removed from the internet. So Alexander is the man to whom I'm referring. He organized and founded the Stop the Steal movement, and he told his many followers that he had something big planned for January 6th. Alexander posted threats on Twitter leading up to the event. He said that if Democrats interfered in Republicans' objections to certify Biden's win that day, quote, everyone can guess what me and 500,000 others will do to that building. I mean, first of all, it was nowhere near 500,000 people who showed up, and they estimate that there were only about 8,000 people who actually were on the grounds and tried to get in the building. But okay, keep thinking you're bigger than you are. He also wrote, quote, 1776 is always an option. That, of course, is a reference to a Revolutionary War in America. Alexander attended a rally also on the night before this insurrection attempt, and he led chants at that event the night before of, quote, victory or death. And about 2 hours into the terrorist attack on the Capitol building, he posted a video of himself overlooking the mob outside and said, quote, I don't disavow this. I do not denounce this. And this is just the tip of the iceberg regarding the many threats that he made and encouragement of violence. But you get the idea. This guy absolutely, as much as Donald Trump, if possibly not even more, was very clear in his threats of violence and his calls for violence. And now Alexander, as you would expect, is backpedaling hard because he may face criminal charges for inciting the violence that took place last week. He now is claiming that, quote, conflating our legally peaceful permitted events with the breach of the U.S. Capitol building is defamatory and false. People are being misled, and then those same people are fomenting violence against me and my team. Seriously? This guy wants to cry about others misleading the public and fomenting violence. You mean like how he and others like Trump and Linwood and all these other nut jobs, all these other grifters have lied and misled Trump's base about who won the election and about voter fraud that actually never took place and the violence that they fomented? These people are seriously out of their minds. They're the biggest hypocrites to ever walk the earth. Now that he's potentially in big trouble, he's trying to pull others under the bus with him. He posted a video saying that he had help from members of Congress. Specifically, he named Republican lawmakers Andy Biggs, Mo Brooks, and Paul Gosar. And I'm sorry, but every time I hear his name, all I can think of is Ghostbusters with Gosar the Gozerian. choose your destructor. That's all I can think of. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is serious. All right. But he says that these three helped him to put on the event and put it together that day. And, you know, of course, they helped to whip up Trump's base with lies about the election being stolen. And in the now deleted video where he talks about them, he said, quote, we four schemed up of putting maximum pressure on Congress while they were voting. So the congressmen, of course, deny it, but there's plenty of evidence out there to prove that they're completely full of it because, of course, they are. Liars lie. Now here comes the funny part of the story. Alexander is not only a criminal who pleaded guilty to felony property theft and felony credit card abuse in 2007 and 2008, respectively, he's also a complete wimp, as you would expect and imagine. And, I'm sure it's just a coincidence that so many of these people who support Trump are criminals and con artists and thieves themselves as well, just like Trump. Probably just a coincidence, but I digress. So Alexander, who recently said that he would, quote, give my life for this fight. Remember, that's what he posted on Twitter. And then the Republican Party retweeted it and said, he will you? Yeah, so they're all calling to give their life for this fight. This same guy is now in hiding, and he's asking people to help fund him to the tune of $2,000 a day. He claims that he needs $2,000 a day to pay for security and other expenses. And then he went on to say, and I'm not making this up, he said, quote, witches and wiccans are putting hexes and curses on us. Oy vey, Michigana. These people, seriously. So you got this guy who thinks that witches and wiccans are putting hexes on them. You got Lynn Wood, who tells people he's the second coming of Christ, and he believes it, or at least he appears to believe it. Oh my God, the lunacy. Oh Lord, this is what the Republican Party has become. And the thing is, if you're going to say we win or die, okay, well, you didn't win. So now what? I mean, if you weren't calling for violence, if you weren't saying we're going to get violent if we don't win, does that mean you're going to commit suicide? Where does the death part come in? And he said he'd give his life for this fight. Well, then what is he afraid of? Why is he in hiding? Why bother to hire security? If you're so willing to fight and die for this, step up, son. You said you'd gladly die for this coup attempt. Put your body where your mouth is. What do you need guards around you for? What are they going to protect you for? And let me get this straight. Not only this guy, but Donald Trump, Trump Jr., Giuliani, Lynn Wood, several others stood on stages. They whipped up Trump's base. They whipped them into a violent frenzy and then told them, we need to fight. We will shut the country down. We will destroy the Capitol. And then none of them actually went near the Capitol. Am I getting that straight? Where were they when Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed? Where were they when Officer Sicknick was hit over the head with a fire extinguisher that led to his death? My father used to say to people when they'd say, hey, we should do this or we should do that, he'd say, we, who's we? You got a mouse in your pocket? And yes, you can see where I get my sarcasm from. But that's basically what Trump and others meant when they said we, and I'll be right there with you. I mean, Trump literally said that. I'm going to be there with you. We're going to march down to the Capitol. I'll be there with you. He didn't go. When are MAGA supporters going to wake up and realize that they've been used and played? So many of these tough-talking, loudmouth Trump supporters are nothing more than walking testicles. They're totally weak. They're totally terrified of being touched, including Trump himself, the draft dodger. They would never risk their own life. They would never risk jail time. They want you to do it, though. They have no problem sacrificing MAGA lives. Do his supporters really believe that Trump gives a rat's ass about them spending time, possibly the rest of their lives, behind bars? Or the people who ended up losing their lives for him that day? He hasn't said a word about any of them. Not Ashley Babbitt, Officer Sicknick, not the woman who was trampled to death, or the man who tasered himself into a heart attack and died. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a damn. And it's just sad. I don't think they're ever going to get it because, there's an old saying, it's easier to fool people than to convince them that they've been fooled. And the reason is because it's about ego. It's about people not, number one, they don't want to admit that they got conned. Everybody likes to think of themselves as being really smart and able to spot a con artist. And it's just not true. Some con artists are really good at what they do. It's also about what that person tells them about themselves, what the con artist tells the person that they're conning. That's a huge part of the con. I've been around people like Trump. I worked with someone who I call mini Trump. He would appeal to people's egos. I watched him do it to everyone around me. They couldn't see it. He fooled people who I know are extremely smart and savvy. And he did it by telling them exactly what they wanted to hear about themselves. He would praise them. He would compliment them on the things that they found most valuable, the things that they wanted to be praised for and recognized for. So to then believe that that person is lying to you, that the con artist conned you, that means they lied to you about everything. That means they lied to you about you. It means they can't be trusted about anything. And we all tend to like people who like us, right? When people are nice to us, we think they're a nice person. We think they're a good person. You don't want to believe anything bad about that person because they haven't done anything directly to you that you know of. And so to believe that they've been lying about everything means all the compliments, all the praise, the admiration, everything that person said that they felt about you is potentially a lie as well. And everyone wants to believe that they're the smartest, they're the best at something, they're the only ones who are in on a secret. That's another big key. That's another big thing in marketing. People want to be they want to be in the know. They want to be the only ones who know about the secret, whatever that may be. In this case, the secret is, but you don't realize how corrupt mainstream media is. You don't see it, but I do because my eyes have been opened. I know, and you don't. You don't know how great Trump really is because I'm the only one who's in on this. Me and these others in this special group, we know the truth. It's really sad. Just absolutely horrible. Such a waste of people's time and money and getting their hopes up. And, you know, I know there were some wealthy people at this event. Some people took private jets, supposedly. Some people were CEOs, very well-to-do. But there were a hell of a lot of people there who don't have the means. They probably spent what little money they had to get to that event, and they really thought that it was going to change something. And the only thing it changed for many of them is that their future is now not looking too good. Not only did it not change the outcome of the election, which we kept telling them it wouldn't, but they may spend their life behind bars. They may spend their life with a felony charge, with a felony conviction. And it could affect their work prospects. When the economy does open all back up and the pandemic is done, anybody can Google them and see who they are, what they've done, that they fell for this con, that they fell for a conspiracy run by a letter of the alphabet, that they actually fell for the idea that Democrats are baby-eating pedophiles, and it's all being covered up by the deep state. And I'm not saying our government doesn't pull crap. I'm not saying they don't hide things from us or that they haven't done some things wrong. And that's the problem. That's the problem. They've left just enough of an opening. They've lied just enough times that some people are willing to go down this rabbit hole and believe crazy things. And some of them are in Congress, and that's terrifying. All right, guys, I will let you know when I hear more. As always, like, share, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Talk with you soon. Take care.